Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James with Monotalk, and I hope you guys can hear me and my mic is working. Um, I do have a technical staff of one that can check that for me, hopefully. And she's sitting right over there. All right. Hope she might chime in later. Maybe Stevie from Reg Economics might stop by. But hey, it is nuts. I think we're at the point, especially in 2020, where if you're not questioning authority, and if you're not demanding facts, you want to see microfilm, you want to see actual tangible documents, you want to see signatures, taking things, because somebody said it so doesn't cut it these days, because nobody can really trust anybody. I mean, honestly, who do you trust? I mean, are you going to trust MSNBC, like some people have, and Rachel Maddow's like the goddess of truth, right? The warmongering, just craziness of her, or Hannity, who basically has steered many people in the wrong direction for years, or are you going to trust Anderson Cooper, who throws softball fucking questions at everybody, and it's like a CIA guy or something like that. I mean, and the list goes on. PBS is compromised. The mainstream media basically is totally compromised. I mean, I want people to start really doing their homework. Connect the dots. Uh, you know, we've got to understand what's on the surface, which is basically what they throw at you. And I, and I say this because you know the color of the house doesn't mean, just because the color of the house is pink doesn't mean there's a bunch of girls living in there, which most people would surmise or say, there's some girls that live in there probably, or maybe the person's whatever. But you would get an opinion or conclusion based on the surface. Like I say, don't judge a book by its cover. Um, so if you are really doing your research, and if you're really checking as deep as possible below the surface, you'll find out some truths, some facts, some information that you may not want to know, you may not want to hear. It maybe goes against a little bit of the grain of who you idolize, or who you uh, support, or an ideology or religion, or whatever the case may be. But you've got to stand by the facts. You have to stand by the truth, the ultimate truth, right? Like I said, there's perspective on things, right? Everybody has their perspective based on, their norms, their folkways, their village where they were born, and it affects their opinion, of course. But you have to make sure that when you come to your conclusions, that you realize there's one story, the other story, and there's the perception of the truth, right? I mean, you weren't, unless you were like there and you saw the two people that had the altercation or whatever the situation was, and you were like in 3D, like right there, then you would have a better assessment of everything. I mean, this proof goes in science and social psychology and all this other things that indicate that we can be easily manipulated, and the surface can do that too. And I am saying this because there are a lot of people on the surface of both parties. They're looking from the shore, and they're seeing the sunset, and they're seeing the waves, and they're seeing the fish or the lake or the river, the stream, whatever, and it's so beautiful. But what's going on? What's the turbulence down deep in the ocean? What's really happening, in the depths of the Marianas Trench, right? And it's really hard for some people to try to grasp that they've been fooled, right? It's super super hard. The quote from Mark Twain, right? You, it's harder to to inform people that they've been fooled than it is that they've been fooled. I'm saying that wrong. I'll find the quote, but it's really simple. It's like so simple. Let me find the. God, I hate when I mess up these quotes. Uh, it's harder for people um, to convince them that they've been fooled than it is to fool them. It's easier to wait. It's easier to fool people than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. Mark Twain. I think that's it. I'm close. I think I'm really close on that. But and I think we're all being duped. And I'm talking about COVID-19. I'm talking about the stimulus package. I'm talking about a lot of things, right? Now, like I've said before, I'm not completely sure that this virus is absolutely and truly not completely not there. In other words, I believe that it is there. I believe that it does exist, right? I know you've probably listened to Andrew Kaufman, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, a few other people saying that it hasn't been isolated, so they really haven't identified it, etc. And then you have a lot of other people saying, yeah, they have, and some experts, people that basically, from what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing, were paid are somewhat a piece of Bill Gates's, what would you say that down pyramid, his down the pyramid of people, like a multi-level marketing. They kind of down positions. The actual name for those positions will come to me later, but in his web of people, let's just say that he can throw money at, or Fosse or whoever. I mean, he is the second richest man in the world, and all of a sudden, he's a health professional, which is mind-boggling to me. There are people that I've seen on YouTube that are talking about the structures and the capabilities and the intricate pieces of microbiology that there's no freaking way this man could put to understand. It just goes a lot deeper than his surface knowledge, and it goes a lot deeper than your surface knowledge. Yeah, I mean, unless you're a doctor, you understand what's really going on. But there's a lot of health professionals and healthcare, doctors and scientists that are completely, thoroughly, and totally, and there's just a ton of evidence out there stating that it's not as bad as it's supposed to be. And I'm going to get crap for this, and whatever you want to say, that's fine. But the numbers are wrong. I mean, the biggest thing that's always got to me, and people are lighting up fireworks. I bought a nice packet of fireworks earlier. I can't wait to light them off here in a couple days. But the biggest thing that got to me was when I watched the video of a lady. Her name was Dr. Zog Ezeek from the Illinois Department of Health. Okay, and she lets us know in the following quote. She's on live cable television channel something out there in Illinois, and she's from the Department of Public Health. She is one of their top people in the Department of Public Health. If you were in hospice and had already been given a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as COVID death. It means technically, even if you died of a clear alternative cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who is listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. This is how they do the count. This is the death count. So we've had countless Facebook messages and Twitters and videos and articles of people committing suicide, but they had COVID in their system. Maybe they were tested for antibodies, or they took the PCR test, or they took the swab PCR test, or they took the blood test, or whatever the case may be, and they were found to have COVID, which, by the way, The testing hasn't been perfect. The testing has not been perfect. There's different ways this test has gone in several different ways. And I'm reading CDC information. I'm reading HWO information. And I'm also eating some of the people that have been and that are working for these departments, these organizations, these scientific, well-known establishments, Mayo Clinic, WebMD, et cetera, et cetera. And they're digging up information from the past saying this is the way COVID, this works. And then now the tune is changed in different directions that don't make sense at all. And there's no science backing a lot of this. So the biggest thing about what I just read to you from Dr. Ezeik, that means that the numbers are inaccurate. That means if you commit suicide, but you have COVID, they're still going to mark it as a COVID. That means, and that's happened, by the way, if you're in a car accident, you die from head trauma and you have COVID, they're going to mark it as a COVID. And then I'm also hearing that people are, and I've had videos on this, that if you check into certain hospitals and you're diagnosed as a COVID patient, the government, right, is paying these giant sums of money, not just for respirators, not just for the test, but, you know, like 75,000 to 471,000 here in West Virginia, if you're diagnosed with it. I mean, it's right there, black and white. This is what these people are getting. And I'm seeing so many reports of just, and you want to say misinformation, but it's being backed up by their research, not by what MSNBC says, not by what CNN says, not by what Fox says, not by what PBS says, not what the Huffington Post fucking says, not what New York Times fucking says, not what LA Times says, not what, you know, the Tribune or USA Today, ABC, all these fuckers, QT. That's Bloomberg, by the way. And if you're listening to anything those fuckers say, you're lost, because that's Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg, right? So all these media outlets are totally and absolutely controlled by the 1% or a handful of people, and it's not you. They're not putting information out there for you. They're not. So it gets me to thinking, right? It gets me to thinking, well, including Donald Trump, who do our supposed public servants work for? Who do these CDC departments work for, right? The head director of the CDC was given money by Bill Gates, right? Fauci fucking has taken millions and billions, right? It's just been found out, and this is not bullshit, that they started contact tracing 6 months before. They started that company on contact tracing. Just happenstance, maybe, hey, you know what? I think we need contact tracing. I wonder why. Right? 6 months prior to the pandemic. Right? Moderna, which is connected to Gate. There's just so much fucking information. And the biggest thing for me, and this is the picture that I think we all should look at, right? The biggest thing for me right now is this. You know, what the fuck is Donald Trump doing? He's not an idiot. Everybody thinks he's dumb. Yeah, well, he talks like a 5-year-old and he's got these word salads, but he's a fucking businessman. Donald Trump is a fucking businessman, right? So what I'm asking, right, and it's pretty simple. I'm urging everyone to talk to their Trump friends, their Republican friends, and demand a full investigation, which should be done, right, on Clinton too, but especially on Gates and his relationship to all this information and evidence that's coming together. He should definitely be doing this. Demand that Trump stop the Bill Gates and Fauci coronavirus scam. In other words, he needs to start putting in information to do this. Now, here's the sad thing is I don't really trust the FBI. I don't. Right? I got a buddy I played football with. He's in the FBI now. I haven't talked to him in a while, but God, I just hope he's not part of this. Right? I don't really trust the CIA. Nobody really does anymore. Right? Does anybody? No. Nobody really does. So we have to start ourselves in filing a petition, a class action lawsuit, crimes against humanity, whatever the fuck we need to do. But definitely get a petition together to have Trump look into what's going on. And we want to see the information. I don't want a big report and then they go to backroom fucking deal, which has happened way too many times. I want it to be totally and completely transparent, day by day. What are they finding? What are they seeing? All the information we throw at them, right? We should be selecting the people that do these investigations. We should be we've lost, gosh, this kind of goes back to, this goes back to basically what I'm trying to do. Vote heard, right? Or nonpartyvoters.org, right? hearmyvote.org, where we should be voting for people that actually listen to us instead of picking what the party wants or for the particular party stooge. So we need to ask ourselves and demand that they produce information. This has gone too far. This has been way too much. Too much. This has been a strain on so many people. The stimulus, what did it do? It made rich people richer. $524 billion was just added to a few people up there because of this. Bezos has made more fucking money in the past 4 months, in the past 3 or 4 months, than he's made in a 2-year cycle. He's made like almost $30 billion. $30 fucking billion. Walmart. Don't even get me started. And they're still not providing hazard pay or proper PPE, protective personal equipment. Personal protective equipment, or however you say it. Right? And those people are still in the trenches. While these fucking criminals, right, are out there just bathing in oceans of money. Now, there's a ton more information in regards to what I'm saying. There's a ton more information. I'll just pick a few. Like right here. Asymptomatic is not bad as they thought. Right? Not as bad as they thought. That's blowing up everywhere. So if you've had it or you got it, it may not be as bad as like you're going to get it. It's like, oh, okay, because we thought that if somebody breathed on you, your fucking face would melt off. But that's not the case, right? Yeah, be safe, of course. I get it. Respect others, be safe. I get it, right? And then contact tracing, like I said, I saw Rachel Maddow pull up a meat processing plant, and she had information on where everybody in that 900 employees or something like that, and knew where they were going. Rachel Maddow knew where all these fucking people were going. It's on national cable television, MSNBC, and she's flaunting it out there to prove a point that COVID is dangerous and evil and spreading, right? But nobody's looking at how in the fuck does Rachel Maddow have that kind of fucking access? Is she the World Health Organization? Is she the fucking CDC? I don't need her fucking knowing where I'm going or my employees. The guy that runs that plant is a fucking ass if he doesn't sue her. That's none of her fucking business. I don't want contact tracing. It's not doing shit. It does. It's pretty much too late for that anyway. Do they need to know where you are and what you're doing all the time? 17. By the way, 17,000 plus Black Lives Matters protesters are being tracked now, and more with contact tracing. So they know where you're. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's not like they couldn't get that before. It's not like they all don't know where you're going because of net neutrality and the NDAA and the Patriot Act. But my point is this is getting out of hand. We no longer have control over our own government, our legislators, our judiciaries, and our executives. We can't. They don't move on bills because they're too busy fucking eating ice cream in their fucking $6,000 refrigerators, 2 of them, and they don't give a fuck about you anymore. None of them. If you're the 99% and you're struggling, you don't have a job, you don't get paid enough. Look around you. Are you living in a mansion like Nancy Pelosi is? Chuck Schumer? Donald Trump? Mitch McConnell? Right? They're all doing fine. Legislators in the past couple of decades have become fucking unsurmountably rich. Nobody's talking about Citizens United, right? McCutcheon versus the FEC, right? If keep your guns, park a tank in your front yard, I don't fucking care, right? But I'm telling you, if they force a vaccine on you, right? And when Trump talks about vaccine and in the same sentence says military logistics, that means forced vaccine. He has said these words in one sentence. So this could happen. We've already seen cops and people treat people that aren't wearing masks or they're not doing things. There are mask bullies on this side. There are mask bullies on that side. It's not just about race now. It's like mask race inequality. What the fuck have we become? These fucking people are controlling you. They're fucking they're laughing. Right? Stephen Colbert has an interview in regards to COVID or whatever, just a few months ago. And Stephen Colbert brings up millions of people dying or something like that. And I'm watching, and when you notice the way Bill Gates was in that interview, quick interview, he brings up death and destruction, and he starts laughing. It's like he just starts smiling. This is where most people that give a shit about each other go, oh man, it's fucked up, bro. What? He's gone. These people are fucking gone. Trump needs to go after, and he should drop this bullshit because he knows. He knows just enough to say, you know what, I didn't wear my mask. I didn't wear my mask because, you know what, I knew about this. Well, if somebody finds out and the shit really hits the fan, he's kind of got a way out because I didn't wear my mask because I knew there was something going on, but I didn't really. But he's the one that can make sure that you're not forced to take a fucking vaccine that, by the way, was patented or created before this thing even started by Moderna. And this is the one, out of all the ones they're choosing, is the one they're going to use? That's interesting because Bill Gates is all connected to Moderna. That's interesting. There's so much information out there. The CDC the FDA drops hydroxychloroquine. Right? Drops it. It's been approved and around since 1955 by the FDA and the CDC, and in 2005, which is the truth, and I've seen, and you know what? If you go to my shows, you'll definitely see. I've got all the links there for you. and where to find this information out. And you'll see it's right there. Fauci in 2005 highly recommended this hydroxychloroquine. And now it's a threat and it's dangerous and they pull it. What? What? That's fucking nuts. Right? Oh, and by the way, right? And by the way, this is the one, and then I'm gonna go because this is just nuts. Is anybody? Let me just. How's the chat? Anybody on there?
We had somebody
Marky
in
call.
there,
Your title is trash. I take care of ICU COVID patients. It's not a scam. All right. Well then, come on my show and let's talk about it. Merced Callie.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about it then.
Well, ask them for more information since they have firsthand experience.
Yeah, show me. Yeah, I want to see.
We're not denying the existence of it.
No, we're not denying the existence of it. I just want to see what you have. I want to see. Go get in the ICU. Right. I want to see what information you can provide. Like I said, I want tangible documentation, logs, and everything. And you don't have to show names, right? You can redact those, but I want to see what's really happening. How are you diagnosing everything, right? I want to see all the information because I've actually seen driving around and been through a few of the hospitals out here that are supposedly packed. There's nobody there. Some of them have cut their staff to a third. They've cut 2/3 of their staff.
And their bonuses, and their raises.
And their bonuses, and their raises. Some of them been laid, yeah, and their 401ks are gone. Right? Are you hearing that part? Because that's actually happening out there. All right, so I'm getting the wrong thing here. So if you can provide some information, and if you want to come on and show the world what you know, right? And if you can back it up with facts, because I'm going to lay out all my information, and I do in my notes on what's going on out there. Yeah, we need to. This you sound a little scared, because I want to know what's really going on. And if you, I mean, even if you have your information, Merced, Callie, whatever, even if you have your information, right, which that's fine, but I want to be able to see that information. I think everybody deserves to know what's going on. There's just too much. And
save lives, because right now misinformation is really what's.
Yeah, it's the misinformation that's bad. Okay? So you're saying one thing, I'm saying another.
I trust them over Trump.
Right? You're saying one thing, I'm saying another. I have a lot of information to prove what I'm saying. If you got that information and you want to share it, if you want to do a video and go in there and show what's happening, right? Please do send it. I'll air it. Right? But a forced vaccine that usually a vaccine takes, if you don't know this, you should know, sometimes 5, 10, maybe decades for it to be approved. But for some reason, this is the miracle vaccine that's coming through who? That's coming through Trump. Right? No, that's not going to fly. That doesn't fly. And it's not right. Right? There's too much information showing it was man-made. For one, when they said it came from a bat's ass or whatever, in a wet market, an animal-eating market, just like 300 yards away or 200 yards, a mile, whatever, close to where they work on these viruses constantly. How is that not coincident? Now, if it came from like somebody opened up something in a glacier, which would probably been a better scenario, but they fucked up on that one, right? A glacier that from Antarctica that exposed some animal that came out with some virus, that would have been a little more believable, honestly. because you can't really trace it to anybody. I think they kind of fight. It's like criminals usually get caught. Usually, mostly, always, the truth always comes out and they get fucking caught, period. So, the title of this, I don't know why the title bothers you.
I don't
That-
see where it says it's a scam.
says what?
I don't see. Oh, public servants. They might have thought you meant. I don't
No,
know.
not
I don't get-
healthcare workers, public
I don't
servants.
Get where they got that from, honestly.
No, that doesn't make any sense. I'm talking public servants means we're talking about
Politicians.
You're obviously you need some more knowledge. Some more, yeah, definitely. So, and I'll try to enlighten you sometime. Just watch the show. You'll get a lot of information. You'll get a ton of information just watching what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and it's basically this. It's a two-party oligarchy. It's now a corporate party. They don't fucking care about you. Okay? There's still people working in the trenches. They still don't have hazard pay. They barely still have the correct training. They don't have PPE properly. You were there in the ICU. Don't you remember? You didn't have all the masks you needed, the ventilators you needed, which we found out ventilators don't fucking do shit. Or only work for certain things, but not this particular fucking virus. Right? There's a lot of other things that the two-party oligarchy or the corporate party isn't doing for anybody. Right? Nobody's Medicare for all. Not around. Bernie fucking split. He caved in once again. From my perspective, he knew all along he was fucking going to take a hike. Right? That's my perspective. These are my perspectives, my conclusions based on tons and tons of research and observation. And I've come to the conclusion that Trump is in on this. He knows what's going on. He's not a fucking idiot. Yes, he talks like a fifth grader and he has word salads, right? And he doesn't enunciate or pronunciate or do anything properly when it comes to actually saying something of true and absolute value. When he was on Hannity, he was kind of point blank talking about, so what are you going to give the people? And he just started bragging about himself and his administration. He didn't have one piece of platform to fucking work with on what he's going to do. And if you think Biden's going to do anything, it's a lie. Since Martin Luther King Poor People's March, they've been asking for Medicare for all, justice for everyone, right? The Constitution, right? God, it's coming to me. Liberty and justice for all. How did I miss that? But anyway, but I got it. I'm not fucking Joe Biden. But the simple fact is they're not doing anything. They haven't done anything to change much for a long time.
No, they haven't even looked at healthcare. In the middle of a pandemic, they haven't even touched healthcare.
Yeah. In the middle of a fucking pandemic. It's a pandemic to me. I don't care what you fucking think. I do care what you fucking think. I just don't think you know what you think is worthy of what you're thinking. I don't think you know
No,
enough.
they're busy trying to say lies,
No, I get that.
It's like,
No.
I get where they don't have the time to look into who's really behind all this stuff.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can hear, but every once in a while Stevie's saying some very good stuff. Look, we need people that we can trust. Do you trust Donald Trump? No. I don't trust him. Do you trust Joe Biden? No. I don't trust him. Do you absolutely trust Nancy Pelosi? No. I don't trust her. Mitch McConnell? No. Right? Our legislators, our judiciaries, and our executives are all greedy fucking bastards. And it's turned into a corporate party. Right? The only thing that we can do now is go on the streets, tag along, lock arms, behind Black Lives Matter and demand, which they should be doing, for money out of politics. And if you go to vote herd, or if you go to nonpartyvoters.org, nonpartyvoters, plural.org, there's a great segment in there on the reasons why if you're just asking to defend the police, it's gonna they'll change it. There's too much money in politics and military industrial complex and all these contractors and gear and these lobbyists that are everywhere. They'll find their way back in. You got to get this money out of politics and a few other things. So look, I get what you're saying. Show us some proof. Go do a video. Show us how bad and how evil it is in there and bring it to our attention. But don't just say. I mean, I've got tons of information I've had in many of my videos. I put tons. I mean, probably every video I'm going to put in links to what I'm talking about. Look at not my last video, but my last couple of videos. Tons of links to show you what's really going on out there. Do it, and if you don't like that information, look for yourself. Look for yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? My show is about saving the planet and all of its inhabitants. That includes you. And if you have the right leaders or people that can run services and departments and utilities, et cetera, while you're out on vacation or you're doing your job or you're doing something else, because not everybody can do that job. You've got to have somebody that you trust, that's transparent, that's honest, that's going to do the work, stay there. Our legislators spend like 143 hours. Am I right? I think it's 143 days out of a total year is all they spend in Congress. They're fucking never there.
70% of their time is spent fundraising.
And 70% of their time is spent fundraising. Thank you. I should be like Joe Biden, and I should have like this in my ear.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm too late to jump in at this point.
I'm going to go off pretty soon, but I should have like this. And Joe has this behind his ear.
Sorry.
And the wife comes in and says everything. No, it's good stuff. No, I'm good.
I'm sorry.
No, the thing is
I can't help it.
right. I'm not going to do this, and there's certain things that I'm going to say, and I'm not going to. I'm not Joe Biden. I mean, I don't. I'll get to where she's saying. I appreciate everything she says.
Sorry, I just get excited.
Honey, you don't have to say sorry.
I know.
You don't ever have to say ever. You're knowledgeable. There's a lot of things that I learned from you, and I'm very fortunate to have you. And here's the biggest thing, people. Here's the biggest thing. Stop being fooled. Just stop being fooled. I can't. 9/11. Right? All those. There was a. Let me see. These people that had the brunt of the 2,000 some odd people that died in those buildings demanded more information, and they got it. It was just nobody ever talked about it. And I'll you know what, I'll put it in here for sure. But it clearly stated that a building was taken down by demolition. Okay? Clearly. Demolition. Right? And just look at buildings. Type in Building 7 BBC and watch how the BBC says that Building 7 went down when live right behind this news reporter, the building is still standing. They couldn't explain that. There's no way to explain that. How would you even know Building 7 would go down? Right? I mean, I'm just going to say this. We've been fooled many times. Like, Kennedy was killed by one guy? Really? I mean, there's like a magic bullet. We bombed fucking Nagasaki and Hiroshima with 2 atomic bombs. Most people say it's 1. They don't even know. Nobody understands how that fucking even happened. But we're the only country that's used a nuclear device on any fucking country. Out of the 240 plus years that we've been a nation, 220 of those fucking years, we've killed over 20 million fucking people. And abused and freaking colonized, regime changed, destroyed countries. Look at some pictures of fucking Afghanistan in the 70s. Everybody's walking around without, what do they call those that they wear, the burqas? Is it burqa or burqa? Right? And they're all wearing like hip fucking bell-bottom jeans, and they're out there. It looks like they're going to a fucking disco. And they were having a good time. And here comes the United States, because we're going to bring freedom, peace, and freedom. We're going to fucking bring peace and freedom. Is that what we're bringing? And democracy. We're bringing peace and freedom and fucking democracy. Thank you for that. I can't. I love the fact that you're. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, peace, freedom, and democracy for our interests. When a politician says our interests, what do you think they're talking about? Yours? No. They're not talking about your interests. Fuck no. They're talking about their interests. Their interests. Money. Power. Influence. Control. Right? That's it. That's why they do it. I'll tell you right, you take money out of politics, and I've said this in so many of my fucking shows. Take money out of politics completely to where they're only making $174,000 a year as a U.S. congressperson, woman, man. You will have, the place would have crickets. Everybody would be gone. Guaranteed. There might be a couple there going, oh, I just got here and I don't know what's going on right now. But most of them are like, fuck this. There goes all my fucking money, man. Fuck this. I'm going to go write a book. I'm going to go be a lobbyist. You know, if you couldn't be a lobbyist, then they wouldn't be able to do that. But look, the simple fact is stop being fooled. Do your work. Do your homework. Do your due diligence. Okay? And person that works in the ICU, show me a video. Show me some information. Tell me what's going on. Give it to us. We want to see it. Right? Don't you, I work in this is okay. Good. But I want to see it. But I will say this. There's a lot of fucking dots that are being connected by some seriously stronger lines these days. And some people need to be held accountable. For sure. For sure. Like look at some of my past videos, the COVID stone, right? How many what is that? How many birds are killed or benefit by one COVID stone? Think about that. Because we've just seen the biggest power grab, money grab, corporate takeover, fucking manipulation and control of. It's almost like a test. Will they listen? Will they pay attention? Will they fight? Right? Anyway. You're being played and you're being fooled, and it's harder to... It's just much harder for people to be unfooled and know that they've been... It's harder to teach them that they've been fooled than actually being fooled. Right? It's because I'm trying to explain that. And all my information's in here. You're being fucking played like a ukulele. That's basically what it is. All right, and everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you have any information you want to send it to me, put it in the comments. If you don't like what I'm saying, or if you love what I'm saying, put it in the comments. Like I said, I am not here to sell t-shirts or coffee cups. I am here to try to help the planet and all of its inhabitants. And we have a site, Stevie and I, nonpartyvoters.org. It also can be Vote Heard or Hear My Vote. All DBAs to my nonprofit that I'm starting. And it's basically 10 states you're able to write in a candidate. Right? Which is great. But how about eliminating the party? Being able to write in without registering for a party. I think 9 out of those 10 states you can do that. I'm not sure. We're still researching. Like I said, we're just starting the movement. The website is extremely new in its like fetal stage right now. We're still adding and moving words and pictures around and trying to make it work. But basically our premise is this: fuck the parties. We're sick of the fucking party dog and pony shows and all that other crap. It's just done. It's over. Anyway, I'm trying to say goodbye. Am I trying to say goodbye? Anyway, thank you all for coming. Mahalo nui loha to everybody. And I do hope you look at all the information in some of my past videos and some of the people that I think you need to start checking out and listening to. Message quickly to Jimmy Dore and Stephanie Zamorano. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time out in Hawaii. I hope it's Hawaii. And or in your RV. And you guys really start to pick up on a lot of this because it's really happening, right? Look, I'm not sure if you're afraid to talk about these things because you could get pulled, which could happen. It seems like the more influence you have, the more you're going to get pulled. Me, I'm fucking small. They're just like, let's just leave him be. Nobody's going to hear his truth and his facts. Right? And I want everybody else to get on board. I know Nico House is questioning authority, right? He is. He's questioning authority, right? I don't think you'll ever hear that from fucking Mike. What's his name? Figueroa. Mike Figueroa, who for some reason you were commenting earlier that what does he do? He just he acts.
Information that we know is important.
Yeah, it's like he acts shocked when some kind of when history for the billionth time repeats itself regarding how the Democratic Party or Republican Party or whatever party does something fiendish or diabolical or evil. It's like, dude, it's an everyday fucking occurrence. The parties are fucked. Fuck them. We're done with them. The Green Party can go fuck themselves unless Jesse Ventura wants to try to help it, which I mean, I hope so. I hope he does. You know, but from what I'm hearing lately, there's just too many saboteurs. There's too much collusion. There's too much crap in there that I just don't want to fucking get into right now. Last but not least, thank you to my technical whispering in my ear technician, Stevie. I appreciate it. And anyway, aloha. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave comments or whatever. But get the message out. Donald Trump, let's see you fucking work for the people. Right? A lot of people that are questioning MSNBC, CNN need to be also questioned by you as well. Why the fuck do you still have Fossey hanging around? Who's like connected to the hip of Bill Gates? Huh? All right, let's hear it. Come on, Republicans. Come on, Democrats. Come on. Fucking the 99%. Get moving. Stand alongside Black Lives Matter. Get money out of politics. There's so many fucking things that we need to be doing, that we need to start doing. Thank you so much. The time is now. Aloha.